Analysis of matter Nibbāna. Let's start by looking at the etymology of the word Nibbāna. It consists of ni and vana. Ni means departure, or non, and vana means craving or attachment. So Nibbāna means departure from craving, non-craving, or non-attachment. Nibbāna is one of the ultimate realities. It is supramundane. It is beyond this world. By this, though, I mean that it is beyond mind and body, or the five aggregates. Nibbāna is beyond this world of mind and body. It is beyond the world of the five aggregates. It is an ultimate reality. With Nibbāna, there is no craving and no attachment. According to its intrinsic nature, it is one-fold. What does that mean? It means peace, or supreme bliss. There is only one Nibbāna. But according to the way it is experienced before and after death, Nibbāna is twofold. So one becomes two, right? These two are Saupadhisesa Nibbāna and Anupadhisesa Nibbāna. Sa means with, upadi means aggregates, and sesa means remaining. The Nibbāna experienced by stream enterers, once returners and non-returners, is Saupadhisesa Nibbāna. It's still Nibbāna, of course, but these beings still have khandhas. They still have mind and matter. What about an arahant? They experience Nibbāna too. Their body remains, but they have no mental defilements, no kilesas, no passion. Despite this difference between arahants and the three lower levels of noble persons, the Nibbāna experienced by an arahant is also called Sopadisa Nibbāna. If you become an arahant, you will experience this type of Nibbāna. Understand? In contrast to Saupadhisesa Nibbāna, Anupadhisesa Nibbāna is when no aggregates remain. When an arahant passes away, he doesn't have to be reborn again. When that happens, there are no aggregates and no passion. So we call Nibbāna of an arahant after death Anupadhisesa Nibbāna. This is Nibbāna, with no aggregates remaining. So according to the way it is experienced before or after death, we call Nibbāna twofold. We can also talk of Nibbāna as being threefold. 1. Sunyanyata 235, Las Vegas, Sayadaw. This means devoid. It is devoid of lust, hatred, and ignorance. It is devoid of all conditioned things. It means that Nibbāna is without lust, without hatred, and without delusion or ignorance. There are no conditioned things, and no matter. With Nibbāna, there is just the extinction and annihilation of the flame of lust, hatred, and ignorance. We call this sunyata, or devoid. 2. Animita. Nimitta means signs, so animita means signless. Nibbāna is free from signs of lust, hatred, or ignorance. It is free from signs of all conditioned things, so we cannot see signs of attachment, hatred, delusion, matter, and so on. 3. Apanihita. This means free from hankerings of lust, hatred, and ignorance. This is because there is no longer any feelings of craving. Nibbāna is the object, right? The object of what? It is the object of Magga consciousness and Phala consciousness. These types of consciousness take Nibbāna as the object, right? But Nibbāna is not the object of lobha, not the object of dosa, and not the object of moha. That's what apanihita means. It is desireless. Lobha, dosa, and moha cannot take Nibbāna as an object. Nibbāna is not conditioned by any cause. Matter is produced by kama, mind, temperature, or nutriment, right? But Nibbāna is not produced by any cause. It is eternal, and neither a cause nor an effect. It is to be understood by intuitive knowledge, experienced by path knowledge, Magga. When you attain Magga Phala, you will understand what Nibbāna means. You will understand it directly and exactly. It is thus understood by intuitive knowledge. We try to do many kinds of meritorious things, right? Why? For Nibbāna, liberation, supreme bliss, peace. How can Puthujjana experience Nibbāna? We can experience it through inferential knowledge. For example, we study many aspects of the Buddha's teachings, and when we practice as much as we can, we begin to get a sense of the great depth and truth of his teachings. In other words, we understand to the extent that our experience allows. 236 Analysis of Matter. If you're planning to drive from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, you'll study a map to know what freeways you need to take. The map will tell you what you'll see 10 miles from Las Vegas. The map will also tell you what towns you will pass 20 or 30 miles away. Inferential experience of Nibbāna is like this. If you leave Las Vegas and drive to the California state line, what roads will you pass? You will see that your experience of driving matches what the map promised there would be. In other words, as you drive from Las Vegas toward Los Angeles, the knowledge you have gained from studying the map will be affirmed by your experiences along the freeway toward Los Angeles. Even if you haven't reached Los Angeles yet, you will see that the map has been correct for the portions of the route you have already traveled, and you can surmise what to expect during the remainder of your journey. In the same way, we practice the Buddha's teachings so that we can know their truth through our experience. Now, we are studying Nibbāna. We have studied much over the course of the last 6 months. We know many things, though we haven't experienced them all by ourselves yet, right? If we keep going, continue practicing meditation, we can reach our ultimate goal, Nibbāna. Some people say, I don't believe it unless I see it with my own eyes. We shouldn't necessarily say that. Nibbāna, after all, is not visible to the eye. Sure, sometimes we shouldn't believe in something we haven't actually seen. But some things are seen only by the wisdom eye. When people say they only believe something they've seen with their own eyes, you might question whether they believe in their grandparents. We might not have seen them, right? But that doesn't mean we should think that we didn't have great-grandparents. No, we should understand that we did. This illustration is akin to having good thoughts, or the wisdom eye. In this way, Nibbāna can be experienced through inferential knowledge. Sometimes we sit in meditation and want nothing, right? We have no lobha, no hatred, no delusion, no jealousy, no conceit. There is just peace of mind. After you get up from that meditation, you might say, today I sat in meditation and it was very good. But when someone asks you 237 Las Vegas Sayadaw how good it was, you can't really explain it, right? You might have to respond, you'll have to do it and see for yourself. Sometimes something feels a certain way, and you never forget that feeling for the rest of your life. You feel very peaceful inside. That feeling might just be temporary. For 5 minutes, your mental defilements may stop, and you'll experience peace of mind. It's a very special feeling. Now imagine how peaceful it would be to never again have any mental defilements. This is supreme bliss. This imagining I'm talking about is what we call inferential knowledge. Puthajjana can experience Nibbāna by inferential knowledge. In contrast, a holy person, i.e., a noble person who has already gained enlightenment, can experience Nibbāna by intuitive knowledge. Nibbāna is very hard to explain and very hard to understand. But meditators, relying upon their experience in practicing meditation, can guess what Nibbāna is, right? We can upgrade our knowledge from inferential to intuitive by practicing meditation as much as we can. So in this chapter, we've been talking about matter, rupa, which is one kind of reality. Nibbāna is also one kind of reality. Now, we have finished studying the 4 kinds of realities. We will soon begin to combine all this information about consciousness, mental factors, and matter as we embark upon our studies of the next chapter. Q. What's the difference between the way a stream enterer experiences Nibbāna and the way a once-returner experiences Nibbāna? Is the way a stream enterer experiences Nibbāna different from the way an arahant experiences it? It's the same. Nibbāna is the same. Q. But maybe a stream enterer's experience of Nibbāna isn't as long or as deep as an arahant's, right? No, the experience of Nibbāna is the same. But stream enterers, once returners and non-returners, still have mental defilements. They still have attachment, delusion, and perhaps some aversion. But arahants have no mental defilements. They could get into attainment whenever they want. 238 Analysis of Matter. But a Sotapanna has to try. But the way these noble beings take Nibbāna as an object is the same. I'll give you an example. You traveled here and reached the monastery, right? You know what that experience is like. A child who comes here also knows what it's like to reach the monastery. But although you both traveled here and reached the same place, perhaps the way you know about it is different. It's the same for a noble person who experiences Nibbāna. If you drink a Pepsi, you know the taste. If a child drinks a Pepsi, the taste is the same, right? Pepsi has just one taste. Q. So the difference is that when they're not taking Nibbāna as an object, some noble persons have mental defilements and others don't. Noble persons experience Sopadisesa Nibbāna as long as khandhas, aggregates, remain. An arahant will experience Anupadisesa Nibbāna after death because no khandhas remain. Q. What's the difference between Nirodha and Nibbāna? The former is the experience of nothing. It's just for enjoyment, right? They have mind, matter, and mental factors, but they want these to stop so that they can take a rest for a bit. In contrast, when we take Phala Samapatti, we take Nibbāna as the object. When you sit in meditation and do this, there is peace. Your mind just experiences Nibbāna. It's supreme bliss. It's peaceful. I'm talking here about the experience of Nibbāna during our lifetime. So, Nibbāna is the object, and Maggaphala is the subject. But, for Nirodha there is no consciousness. Q. What about Nibbāna after death? Is there still consciousness then? No. Nibbāna is not consciousness. No body, no mind, no matter. Nothing. Just supreme bliss. Q. So Nibbāna after death is like Nirodha. No, different. Nirodha is just like taking a rest. I say this to make it easier to understand. You just stop for a while. If you were to take 239 Las Vegas Sayadaw Nirodha for 7 days, for example, you would be unable to take Nibbāna as an object because the mind stops no consciousness. So it can't take Nibbāna as the object. There's no Chittaja Rupa or mind-born matter. There are also no mental factors. It all stops. Nirodha is not Nibbāna. It just stops for a while. And Nibbāna should be experienced by Maggaphala during the lifetime. After death, Nibbāna is just supreme bliss. Q. Do you still have consciousness after death if you're in Nibbāna? No consciousness. If there is still consciousness, there will still be suffering. The Buddha said that mind and matter is just suffering. If you still have consciousness, just arising and disappearing, we call this suffering. After the death of an arahant, it stops. See that, right? Kuti arises and ceases, and then it all stops. The death consciousness of an arahant cannot produce any matter. This is how mind and matter stops. Now we'll prepare to start a new chapter. The next 3 chapters are very useful for meditators. Even if you don't have experience or background knowledge of Abhidhamma, you can listen and understand because it's not so hard. It will be very easy from now on. 240.